Gotta wait for StreamYard. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the 3200 show, man. And we've got a great show for you today. This weekend is one of the best holidays, one of the most unappreciated holidays, some would say. Father's Day. So we're talking about everything being a dad today, the good, the bad, the ugly, and then the good again. And then we're going to have a list at the end of the show of what we want for Father's Day so you don't get it wrong. Oh, man. Hey, we got a good show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, the 3200, you know how we connect. 3200 Magnolia was the address. Beaumont, Texas, had to do it like that. Wanna welcome everybody to the podcast. Plenty stories that we gotta explore. From the views of husbands, fathers, entrepreneurs, baby fathers and workers. I know this though for certain. You gon' laugh, have a good time till your side hurting. 3200, but you already know this. Couple of brothers hard working and focused. Intellectual, entertaining for show. 32 double O, let's go. 3200, but you already know this. Couple of brothers hard working and focused. Intellectual, entertaining for show. 32 double O, let's go. Hey, yeah, make sure that you turn it up. Get the talking, ain't no topic that we do not discuss. Yeah, everything and nothing at the same time. Good vibes, tune in, cause you know it's going down. 3200.
Hey, welcome back to the show. Welcome back, man. Hey, we got Ike here. We got Leo. Say what's up, Leo.
What's up, Leo?
KD's in the building. What's up, KD?
What it do? What it do?
Looking fresh today. Looking good.
Looking like a dad.
And then we got not the mama. Jonathan is here somewhere.
Hey, the wild card.
That's why he's the wild card. We'll be back here in a second, man. Hey, first off, man, before we get started, man, we want to make sure that you go ahead, man. We are got a goal to reach 8 more subscribers. We need you to go ahead, like, subscribe, and share this thing, man. And then go back through, man. Make sure you watch our old shows and go ahead, like those too. And we want to see what you got in the comments today. So go ahead and share. Also, special thanks to everybody. Who participated and helped out in the community kickback, man. This weekend was a great thing, man. We ended up feeding close to about 200 kids. We gave away some pools and some pool supplies. We gave away some gift cards to Sonic and Dairy Queen. And most of all, man, we just showed the kids that people care and love them, and that there is hope and opportunity past whatever your street name is, whatever your hood is. There's hope and there's love past that. You just need, we're here to mentor and help you find that out. So, very good event this weekend, man. We affected some kids, and that was the goal. Today we're talking about all things fatherhood today, man. We're going to talk about it all. So we want to see what you got to say. Make sure you jump in the comment section, man. I think the first thing there, man, fellas, man, two parts there. What's one of your favorite memories of our dad, and then one of your favorite memories as a dad?
I got a memory. I think I done told this memory before. So you know how we used to cut the yard, and rake the leaves, and like sometimes get on the roof and do the leaves out the gutter and all that other stuff. Like every year we were maintenance for the house. And Donrell and I had gone to the game. Central was playing somebody, and then we walked back home, and we got home just in time because my daddy good for locking the door and letting you sleep on the porch. But man, I remember I was asleep, and while I was asleep, I woke up that morning. I was still kind of sleeping in and everything because I was tired. And next thing I know, I heard this noise coming down the hallway. Because remember, me, Leo, and we slept in that back room, that long, that big room in the back. And I didn't know what the noise was, so I rolled over and everything, turned my back to the door, and I heard the lawnmower start. and my daddy taped up the little arm thing so it wouldn't shut off and walked out. And my mama was like, "What is that?" So I was like trying to turn the alarm off, and little rocks that was caught to the thing was hitting me all in the toes. And man, I pushed it out the house, and my daddy said, y'all know what y'all need to. Y'all know what y'all chores are like." He said something crazy. He already know he was on it. And man, I found out. I mean, I ended up washing that big window to the front of the house, mowing the lawn, raking leaves, going on the roof. Like I did everything after that. I was like, man, this ain't gonna happen again, man. And my wife be thinking like, nah, your daddy nice. I was like, man, my daddy used to shoot.
You can't
Remember
talk
that dictionary?
Oh yeah. I know the dictionary.
I guess that'll be my story next time.
Yeah, go ahead. What you got, Leo?
So I don't. What's so bad about a lot of these things that me and Kendera did? I don't remember what we did, but I remember that punishment. I remember me and Kendera. We had, and what's so bad? We used to use these big old dictionaries and encyclopedias to sit on because we was kids at the table. So my daddy, I don't know what we did, but I remember us doing a football game. My daddy had us get on our knees and hold our arms out, and he put those big old dictionaries and thesauruses in our arms, right? And you know your daddy is good for falling asleep during a football game. So we get there and sit there. We shaking. Whole game, all the because you know if you drop it, you get the whooping. So we did a whole game. My daddy had to get up and use the bathroom. He was like, "Oh, I forgot y'all was down there." I was like, whole game, man. We cried and everything else with the doggone thing shaking, and none of us want to drop it.
And when he was snoring in between snores, like we'll go down and rest a little bit. Then when he looked like he stopped snoring, he was waking up with
Pick that up.
Yeah. Jonathan, man, I know you just jumped back on there. We're talking about one of your favorite memories of our dad, and then one of your favorite memories of you being a dad. So, of our dad, I think the best memories always came from like when you seen him. Like our dad was a disciplinary, and he was strict on us, and he always would give us like lectures and all of that stuff. But I think my favorite time with dad was always when he was himself, and he was always himself when he was going fishing. And then those trips to go into to the river or whatever, wherever we were going to go fishing at, the dam or the river, just him being silly. Like my dad, you know, you didn't realize he was real goofy, and he's real silly. and just those trips like that where he's kind of out of his element. He's singing silly songs and doing this little, y'all know how he be rocking and singing the silly songs, and just being honestly, he wasn't being over fatherly at the time. He was just being Leo. You know what I mean? He wasn't being dad. He was being Leo. Those are my favorite times. And then me as a dad, I think one of my favorite time with my kids, man, a couple summers ago, we went, I rented a beach house, and the rule was no electronic devices that whole weekend. You know what I mean? You know, say, hey, we're going to play games. We're not going to turn the TV on until about 7 or 8, and we'll watch a movie at that time together as a family. And I think that was one of my favorite times as a father. So my kids hated the idea at first, but when we got there and we relaxed and we played games together and we just talked and read or whatever it was, you know, we were close then. Everything was real tight then. Everybody was comfortable, and they actually loved it. That's one of their favorite vacations. All right, what about you, John? Hey, Miss Carolyn.
Nah, just every time just going fishing, man. You know, you get some that'll be because see, like a lot of the kids nowadays, they don't understand the delicacies that they have. So you knew like when you was going fishing with my dad, you would get some good snacks and stuff that you wouldn't get normally. You know, and just him taking us to like Burger King and stuff like that. Kids, you know, they get that every day, but you know, we didn't get that with 6 kids. Burger King was a Brazilian steakhouse, man.
Real talk.
You know, so you just knew, you know, going fishing, you was gonna have a good time. and then you might hook up with Big James or somebody else, or with my dad, was just you'll see a whole different side that we wouldn't see at the house. Because like everybody was saying, he was very disciplined, and we have a lot of stories about touching that heater. Or hiding food in the drawers and them finding it.
Yeah. What about when mom took the trips? When mom would leave for meetings, I think the first place he would head was to Shortstop and get a bag of burgers. And then man, he brought us some Sunny D. So we were all excited, like, oh man, we got Sunny D now. Because usually we just get the jug, the gallon that says orange on it.
Orange drink.
Orange drink, yeah. But he bought Sunny D, so it's like, oh man, yeah, we got Sunny D. He started pouring that Sunny D. He poured just like a little bit of Sunny D and then filled the rest of it with water.
You tried.
Oh man, yeah.
I don't think KD answered the second part. I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the second part there. Memory, your favorite memory is being a dad. Many of y'all. I think I'm the only one that answered that.
For me, it was Isaac. You were there. I had through a fashion show. Remember the fashion show I did in Beaumont?
Yeah.
So I did this fashion show in Beaumont, and I wasn't expecting it to be as big as it. Like, it was packed. Like, remember, it was like over 300 people. That in Beaumont, that's like huge for your first fashion show and notoriety. But I threw it, and I had remembered. I really were like, I was like just kind of stressed that entire month of getting everything together. But I really, really wanted my kids there, man. And I don't know if anybody remember, like, they came on stage with me at the end. Everybody was like real congratulatory and everything like that. Like, you did that. And one guy came to me, he said, man, I remember you praying about having your kids with you, like at stuff like this. And that just like kind of blew my mind, and kind of got choked up with it and everything like that. But that was probably one of my favorite memories, just them being at the fashion show, seeing what I do, seeing me in my element, seeing me in my own environment and everything like that. And I remember Jasmine was like, Daddy, you always do this? And I was like, this is my first one. And like, she went to school for fashion and everything like that. And that was just like, I don't know if I birthed that or that event birthed her being interested in fashion, but it was just a huge, huge memory for me. Yeah. Got to me.
Miss Carolyn says her mom used to let us drink out of one can of soda. That's hard times.
Me and Leo used to share root beers.
Yeah. I hope you wasn't the last one to drink out the can, Miss Carolyn. I hope you got the first sip. I wouldn't want to be last.
Yeah. BPI.
I think my favorite memories of me and my sons was most of the time at their sports events, football, basketball. That's where they got to be themselves, and you got to encourage and foster good relationships. And also, I think the main thing was Jalen and Jaleel wasn't on. They were never on the teams that made the championships and stuff like that. They was always on, pretty good teams. But the thing that I taught them was, what did you do when you went out there? Did you go out there and give your 100%? If you gave your 100%, you good. And they always was at the end of the game, win, lose, whatever. They knew they went out there and they did their best. They was fine. We'd be like, hey, ice cream after the game or whatever they wanted to eat after the game or whatever. And they was just like, all right, cool. I was like, y'all lost. Yeah, we'll get them next time. You know what I mean? So most of the time, the football games with the boys.
I think their favorite was every Sunday.
Yeah,
they knew what.
Every Sunday we went out to eat, and I was cooking nothing. So I think you're right, John. That was their favorite day. I think Jaleel's favorite time was doing drive-bys with Elephant. Leo had a friend when he was little, his imaginary friend who had a black car like somebody named Jonathan. And he called him Elephant. Jaleel came home. He was like, "Yeah, me and Elephant went. He had a gun. He threw it on my lap. We did shooting by somebody." So
What?
I was like, "Jonathan, where you taking my child?"
Hey, you know Jonathan is the thug, so
Man.
nah.
He's imaginary. He's imagining it.
Hey, Jonathan was a goddamn police in the military, so yeah. Hey, Uncle Jonathan let me shoot his gun. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. I don't know what him and Jonathan did, but he loved being with his uncle. His uncle when he was real little, so that was his best friend.
His uncle was crazy.
Nah, I think my favorite time being a dad was when I got COVID, and I had a chance to actually be in a room by myself, and it was quiet.
You horrible, man. You are horrible.
Nah, I think I guess it would be well, it's two events. Of course, always with Jeremiah with his grades, getting him from not doing so well to all A's and B's, but also when he was younger, because I always told him to stick up for yourself, and take care of everybody around you, So he used to get in trouble at school for fighting kids. But it was because he was fighting the bullies that was bullying the kids. So, I couldn't really, just, I don't know. I would just tell him, let the kid handle it. Let the kid tell the teacher, but I couldn't really discipline him because, he was doing to me what was the right thing, looking out for his friends, But yeah, that's probably two little spots with Jeremiah. My other one's too small, so they're still running around.
That's what's up. So Jonathan looked like Isaac doing the freeze.
The free
He's meditating. He's thinking about his time.
He gonna wake up and say, "Amen." That boy got that cricket internet. That boy need what's the name of that commercial where they say slow internet? What do we do now?
Yeah, I don't know. He's I don't know if y'all want to go to the next question or what.
Yeah, what's up? So I got a question. So with us being fathers and everything like that, what's advice would you give to an upcoming father? Like somebody, the baby ain't in the world yet. He's excited. He's married, just starting his family. This is gonna be his first child. What's one piece of advice you would give a new father?
Well, yes, that can go both ways. If he's having a daughter, get a shotgun. That's number one. Number two,
Real
if
talk.
you're having a son, you might want to jump in that gym because sooner or later he might want to test your daddy. So that's my advice: shotgun and gym. It matters on which child you have.
We thought you were doing the freeze challenge, Isaac, but it's all good.
Yeah, I don't even know what happened. Well, we got a bad storm going on here in Beaumont, so I don't even know what happened.
Oh man, y'all gonna be
Yeah.
all right?
Oh yeah. Just a little tornado and Sahara dust flying through.
So,
Tornadoes in Beaumont.
It's happened. Nah.
so the question that's on the table right now, Black, is
Okay.
what would you tell a new father? He's married, they got a
Mhm.
kid on the way, he's excited. Leo's advice to the new father: if you're having a daughter, get a shotgun.
Having a son, you better work out in that gym, buddy,
Yeah, he
Yeah.
say if you're having a
Nah.
son, get in the
Yeah.
gym because he's gonna try you one day.
and have you on Dr. Phil talking about my son taking me out. Dr. Phil, I need help.
Now, my advice, if you
Well, I'll answer it
Go
while he's
ahead,
praying. That boy praying hard. So my advice to any new father out there is like be patient. I know a lot of times frustration can set in when they get older and they don't do what you would like, but invest in them as they're young and they get older. Trust me, they're not going to agree with everything that you want. They're not going to like everything you like. They could probably going to run away or go somewhere else and stay. But as long as you put some good values in them, love them sometime from a distance if you have to, but just pour into them and be there for them as much as you possibly can. Are you crying, Jonathan? It's gonna be all right, man.
Nah, go ahead, before you go off again.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I'm trying to switch internet. I would say I always tell new fathers, be sure to make sure that you get some rest before the baby get in. Anybody bringing in on a newborn, I say get you some sleep because you're not going to get it for a few months. And then I would think this is something new that I just learned myself, but I would say that the way that you were raised or certain things that you did or things that your father did, you don't have to do it exactly like he did it. You can do it differently or whatever. Now, what I mean by that is like I had a real hard time being a father. I didn't have a hard time being a father, but I think one mistake that I'm just learning that I was making was I was trying to raise my kids the way our dad raised us. But my kids aren't from the same environment that we're from. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think I still had to be firm on issues, but I don't think I had to be as hard on them because they're not going through the same things that we had to go through. And I think me being the dad that I am, I think I pushed them away more than brought them in, trying to be hard like my dad. And then just kind of looking at our relationship like, you know, because I wonder like why my kids don't come up to me and talk to me about certain things. And it's because of that. I was like, okay, how many times did you go up to my dad and tell him anything or any issues you had going to? You didn't, right? Because he was tough on them. Huh?
I always went to my father, and he always
talked to him about issues.
Yeah, I always go to my daddy, and he'd always be like,
"Use a lie, Craig. Use a lie."
I walk towards him and be like, no. That was our conversation.
Like, Daddy, no.
Yeah, I think we always, for me, I can only speak for myself, but I think there was always that certain amount of fear in us from dad. So there's a lot of stuff that's probably what's going on that I held back from dad that I went to mom and talked to. And I see my kids doing that now. They go to mom. Like I gotta actually like dig and be like, okay, what's going on? What's going on? Tell me about it. What's up? And mom, they just go straight to mom and tell it. But it's because I kind of installed that little fear. So I would warn against. I ain't saying be soft on your kids, but you know the environment, know where it's at, and you don't have to push fear to get respect from your kids. You know what I'm saying?
You know what, Isaac? I was telling a young man a couple of days ago. And I don't even know why I didn't use that as my example, but I shared with him, I said, respond in a way that you want your kids to continue to talk back with you. So if they tell you something, and like when my daughter told me, like she was dating boys and on that level of dating boys that I really didn't want her dating boys, but she was dating boys and I got a little heated. I remember my response was, I want her always to have this open communication with me. And it created a bridge for us to continue to talk. So responding, and that's key, like what you was talking about, Black. That's that will build that relationship. Respond in a way that you can still express your disappointment if you're disappointed with them, but doing it in a way that you would want them to receive it so they can continue to talk to
you. Yeah. First daughter, man, like she was scared to tell me that she was talking to boys or dating boys and stuff. Like I didn't even find out until like high school. It's like, I didn't have about 8 boyfriends since this grade. I'm like, whoa, where is this all coming from? And she hid all of that. She hid all of that from me because of the way I talked around. Like, I'm gonna kill this boy if he come around. You know what I mean? The way I talk.
Did you know this, Leo? Did you know about this?
if I wouldn't have known about it.
Hey, she was actually dating like one of the guys that worked for me. She was dating his son, and I was wondering like why this dude keep inviting us to go places with him and his son? And it's because they were dating the whole time, So the second child, Erica, I'm a little bit more open, so she'll be more open with it. I'm kind of learning off of that. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want my oldest daughter to hide her boyfriends from my fear. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm gonna be still strict with the boys when they come in. I'm still gonna be crazy, but I want you to be able to talk to me and talk. You know what I mean? I didn't want her to hide that from me. I don't.
Let us be crazy and you be sane. That's
I'm good at it. I'm a good crazy uncle.
Me and Leo got a whole script ready. Like
my nieces already know that, so it's all good.
Yeah. But that's what I would tell them. I mean, these are lessons that I learned. Like I said, my first child is 20, so it took me 20 years to learn this lesson. So
Jasmine still don't know what happened to Ben after they.
I would. Everybody answer that question.
Jonathan.
Oh, okay.
Give a shout out to Lil Hands. We all know who that is. I'll see you next time I'll be in Beaumont. But I would say I agree with all what you guys are saying because I do the same thing with when I worked at the school, and we noticed that the kids were more open to me and this other guy that I work with because how we spoke to the children. We didn't yell at them. We always checked in on them daily, but the teachers would, yell at them every day, so they would just shut down. So I do the same thing with my son. You got to kind of find that balance, and you don't want to, yell and scream and discipline every single time. I more do what my dad used to do to me when I got older because y'all were young. But when I was in high school, he didn't really whip me anymore. He would just talk to me. So he'll drive me in the truck and talk. So that's kind of what I do with Jeremiah right now. Of course, I still put him on the wall with the books and stuff like that. But at the same instance, sometimes South End, man, North Side.
That's my boy Josh, man. What's up, Josh?
Now tell that boy we straight Magnolia. Real talk, man. We roll real and swing deep, baby.
Shout out Josh and Lamb Productions, man. I love Lamb Productions, everything. He does a really big thing. Just real shout out, real quick shout out. He does a lot of good things for the kids here in town there. He records their video. He records their football games, basketball games, and he does all of that for free. He has Duke, North Carolina, so many other teams following his page and actually helping get kids scholarships.
Good.
He does all of that for free, and he even did like an all-star game for the middle school kids. So big shout out to my boy Josh, man. Love him and his family, man. They're good people.
Yeah, but he say that South End one more time. So that come from OGKD, real time. They know who I am on Magnolia, man.
But I say just find that balance and grow with your children, especially with your first one. Grow with them because especially if you have more, it helps. Now all children are different, but it'll help you in the long run. Just give your opportunity to grow with your children, and don't try to micromanage them. Let them hit a couple of walls and tear some stuff up here and there. Not garages or anything like that, but just grow with your children and find that balance.
Yeah, I'm reading his comments.
Yeah.
Google me.
That's my
That's
dog.
that Magnolia. He good people. I be seeing his work. He good people.
So I guess
What's the next question, man?
I think the next question is, also during this time, we usually see like a lot of mad disrespectful comments coming from different mothers on there. So I want to just squash some myths about fathers, talk about misunderstandings about fathers, and then also let's talk a little bit about mistakes we made as a father. I think I'd already named one of mine, but get on that. Myths about fathers, misunderstandings about fathers are mistakes that we made as fathers.
Um, Mistake wise, um, well, let me address it two different ways. One was I remember one of my kids asked me, why didn't I fight for them? And my response was, why would I have to fight? Like, why should I have to fight? Nobody fought in the bedroom to make you. So why would I have to fight for what I helped create? But for my older kids, I think that I try to exhaust every possibility to see them, but looking down the road now, um, there could have been a mediator to be in between me and them because the language that I was speaking to them to connect with them and the language that they was receiving was kind of broken. I was steadily trying to prove my point that I wasn't a bad dude, and all they heard was, um, I sh- I should have been there more. That makes sense. And so the mistake I made was probably not having a mediator involved to start the process when we first started being around each other when they got older and things like that. Um, and so if there's anybody out there that don't have a relationship with their kids because of the bitterness or the broken relationship with their mother, man, I would say like the one thing that changed all of it was that movie with the father. He was dancing with his daughter in a park and he lost his daughter, and after he lost his daughter, he kind of shook his world. That made me start going to eat lunch with Kendrick and going visit Jasmine at school and doing things like that. So I started exhausting all those possibilities. I don't think it was never too late, but I still think we would be a lot further if there was a mediator, if somebody would kind of interpret each other's language, because we didn't have the strong relationship and I wasn't hearing what they were saying so that I can comprehend, and they probably weren't hearing what I was saying, so their comprehension wasn't there. And somebody in the middle probably could have said, well, this or this, you know what I'm saying? So um, I could have been a better father in that aspect.
Yeah, and I just want to talk about that a little bit because you're coming from just to give the audience just a little bit, background there. You got married young. You got married young, and then y'all broke up, and then you had a situation where y'all it was an ugly breakup. They would just leave it plain like that. It was an ugly breakup, and so you're having struggles pretty much seeing your kids, right?
Yeah, yeah. So after the divorce, she moved back down to Beaumont. I was still in Virginia, and then I got stationed in Italy for a little while, and then I came back to the States. And instead of re-upping to get in the military, I tried to make it work. We
Yeah.
were already divorced, but I didn't know any better, and um, so it didn't work. And she made it difficult. She made it extremely difficult, and it wasn't a secret. And I never. One thing I do pride myself is I never just really totally disrespected her, um, and totally just went left field. If you were close to me, you probably felt my anger in how I felt about the situation, but I never was malicious about the situation. And I tried different ways and just the manipulation between everything. She used my kids as a weapon. I felt. And so during that entire phase of life, I was young, still a young father, which is not an excuse, none whatsoever. But I was still a young father, and there were opportunities that I could have. Everybody knew I loved my kids, but there were opportunities that I could have been a little bit more assertive. Instead of fight for them, I could have gone to the courthouse because I didn't have any money, but I could have gone to the courthouse and just sat there until somebody heard my story. Um, because I heard that worked for somebody else, and I was like, man, why didn't I try that? So I exhausted what I knew. She wouldn't let me see my kids, so I was going to the schools.
Yeah.
I remember Charisma Papillon. She was the principal or the assistant principal at what's that, Smith?
Hmm.
That was the school then.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
where he was. Smith.
Smith Middle School. So I used to bring them Taco Bell and bring them lunch and everything like that. And um, so from a father's perspective, even if the mother of your child is making it difficult, there are other resources out there as a non-custodial parent that I didn't know about, but I can honestly say I did not exhaust the opportunity to try to find out, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, after the relationship had ended, things got really, really twisted and really, really ugly. Um, but yeah, I mean, and
yeah,
maybe I went through that to help somebody else that may be going
yeah.
through it, stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to talk about it a little bit deeper, just because I'll be honest, I know about 3 or 4 people that's going through the same thing right now, trying to see their kids that can't see their kids, just because. And I hate to say that, 'cause I don't know everybody's situation, but I, it's almost like you said, like the lady is using. Now these are good guys who really want to see their kids. It's not no deadbeat. Yeah, there's some deadbeat dads out there that don't want to see their kids at all. But the guys I'm talking about, like I know them personally, they're good guys. They want to spend time with their kids, but they're being um, just because the mother's angry. And most of the time they're angry. If I'm honest, a lot of time they're angry. They're angry about something that the boyfriend or the husband did. Uh, but that doesn't give excuse, to stop them from seeing their kids. So that's what my next question. You already answered. I was going to ask you, like, going and doing the things that you did, and seeing how everything ended up right now. Like, what would you tell somebody who's going through the same thing right now? I think you kind of answered it.
Yeah, and also to add to that, one thing I did was, um, after doing all of that, I purposely did not talk bad about their mama around them because I didn't want that resentment on me, and I didn't want them to look at, because they gonna have a relationship with their mama whether the father wants it or not. That's just what it is. They're gonna always gonna navigate. Like all kids are gonna navigate. If they spent the bulk of their life, they'll break and have issues with their mother and all that. But always treat them as if, not worried about what the mother is saying, but treat them in a way and try to get them to understand you and you understand each other. But always think about down the road, what can happen down the road once that relationship does mend with the father and the children. Because the last thing any parent wants is their kids not to be in their life based on what the other parent had said came true. That
So
makes sense.
I guess I'll ask you this real quick, and I'll make it short. Katie, if you make it short too. You talking to the husband or the boyfriend, what would you tell to the mother of the child coming and dealing with the experience you dealt with, and your kid? What advice would you give the mother, just to kind of flip it?
The advice I would probably give to the mother is, understand that if it didn't work between y'all, that's okay. Um, the feelings that you may harbor towards that person may be valid. He may have cheated on you, he may have done anything to hurt you personally, but allow the kids the opportunity to say no instead of you choosing no for them. Because what happens is that resentment kicks in, and then the kids find out the truth about the father, and they're kind of confused. So let the kids choose to know. Even if you want to monitor the meetings in the beginning, it's okay to be bitter towards him. I'm not saying that it's okay to be angry. Just don't hurt anybody. But from the mother's point of view, um, separate the difference in being a good father and a good boyfriend/husband.
All right. Yep. Mr. Terry says his dad left when he was 1 years old, so he learned what it takes to be a dad early in life. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're going to get into that too. We're going to talk about fatherless homes here in a minute, Mr. Terry. So stay tuned with us here. Jonathan Leo, any misunderstandings, or mistakes as a father from y'all?
I make zero mistakes as a dad. That's not. I think the myth and the big thing you got to do with your kids is when you make those mistakes, allow them to see those mistakes so they learn early on that you're human. So many people that I know that got older and it hurts them even more because they like, well, my dad was this. I feel like my dad was, because they put that myth into they life. I'm Superman. I'm Superman. So when you say you're Superman and the kid believe you're Superman when you don't do something that Superman would do, they kind of look at you different. So a lot of that mistake, you know, you trip up the hall or whatever, you kind of laugh it off with the kid or whatever, stuff like that. You know, like those times like Jonathan was saying, that my dad had when he used to take us fishing, and how he was a different dude fishing than at home, you know, because at home it was like, hey, we back to business. We gotta get back to, you know what I mean? I twisted mine a little more and made sure. I remember I don't think, like you said, I don't think I had a real conversation with my dad until I was probably about 18 or so. I think until after I moved out the house. But before that, it was no deep conversations or anything else like that. Whereas I made sure I kind of stressed that and opened up those avenues for my kid, even though y'all was like, you know, Leo had a boot camp at his house. I, I made sure there was rules and things like that they abided by and everything else. And my main thing was, you have rules in your house, you're gonna have rules when you get out the house. So you got to understand there's consequences when it comes to those type of rules and stuff like that, things that happen. Which is the same thing going to happen to you when you're outside the house. If you're driving fast, you're going to get a ticket for speeding. That's just something you should look forward to. You know what I mean? Or if you're driving really, really fast, you might go to jail. So, you know, that's something you should, you know, you shouldn't be surprised or anything about. But I think that was my main thing was showing them that I'm human, you know, rather than I'm the myth, the legend, the super dad.
Yeah, yeah. I think that was like one unique thing. I just kind of, I thought about, my dad. Like when we were young, he was dead, but like right now, like this stage of life, like he's been like a best friend. Like I could talk, I had them conversations with him that I didn't feel comfortable having them with him when we were little.
Yeah.
Right now, that's just one of my things. What you got, John?
Yeah, the same thing. I think what it is when they're younger, you have to distinguish. I am the head of the household. And I am the alpha. Especially with boys. Shout out nephew. Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that speeding. But but yeah. That's pretty much what I do with my son. I just sit him down and I tell him a lot of the mistakes that I have made in life. Meaning one, trying to do everything on my own because I really didn't. When we were growing up, I really didn't see my dad getting help. But he was getting help, and he had to sit down and tell me, yeah, your grandma, your uncles, your aunts, they all were helping, but I didn't really see that. So when I got older, I would try to do everything on my own, and that's where I would fail because, I wouldn't ask for any handouts. I would more hit the wall, and try to do it on my own. And then last minute, then I'd call my dad, and he'd be like, hey, dummy, why did you call me like 2 months ago? I could have been helped you. Like, come on now, let me come help you, don't do that again. But at the same instance, it's kind of like, well, Dad, I didn't really see you really fail in life or you were the superhero to me, you was, an X-Men to me. You was Charles Xavier, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I definitely do with my son. I tell him every wrong I've done from top to bottom, to try to help him. And I do the same with other young men and women in life, just be as truthful as possible. And I find that to really open the doors for that communication.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing is even like I work for the same company Dad worked for, and early on in life, like I would try to go to work a full day, come home, do the yard work on the car, do all of this stuff, like burning myself out, just trying to, trying to meet my dad's expectation of what I thought he was. And then when when I get the job and I talk to guys that work with, like, yeah, your dad used to sleep all day over here, like. He used to sleep at work the whole time. I was like, okay, that's where he sleep. He's sleeping at work the whole time, and then he got the energy to do all that extra stuff.
Hold on. My
Yes,
daddy told me the truth about that because remember they mentioned that at his retirement.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, he would go to work so early in the morning, so which is funny because I kind of do the same thing." He was like, "Yeah, I would get there early, get everything done, so by the time it's noon or lunchtime or whatever, because it get hot because where y'all work at is outside."
Yeah.
He was like, "By the time it's noon over there, I'm done." So he's like, "Yeah, I'll be taking naps."
Nah, he wasn't taking naps. He was taking sleeps. I caught him too. He had the feet up, kick back. Be relaxed.
Yeah. You see, Miss Carolyn, she says, my dad really was not in my life either. He left us when I was 6. Me and my sisters would tell him, don't go around him because he never did anything for you. But really, I didn't understand between him and my mom being young, but I still love him the same. So same thing, man. And that kind of takes us into fatherless homes. Like it's actually like a epidemic here in America. Man. And then I got a few stats here while we get into it. There's like 85% of the youth who are currently in prison grew up in fatherless homes. 7 out of 10 youth that are housed in state-operated correctional homes, including detention, residential treatment, come from fatherless homes. 39% of students from first grade to senior high school do not have a father in their home. Children without a father are 4 times more likely to live in poverty than children with the father. And then children from fatherless homes are also twice as likely to drop out of school before graduating than children who have fathers in their lives. And there's so many other stats out there. I think my first question while we're going into fatherless homes is do you believe that it's necessary? Because right now, I think there's a big feminist movement going on and whatever, and they're pretty much canceling dads out. But do you think it's necessary for fathers to be in the home? And then just your feelings on fatherless homes. Go ahead.
Yes. A woman can raise a child. She can raise a young man, but she cannot teach him how to be a man. And what I mean by that is she can give him everything that she believes a man will be able to do, how to provide. But there's some conversations that a man needs to have with a man in his life. It doesn't have to be his father, but a father-like figure needs to be in a young man's life to share with him the nuances about what he will expect, especially for those of us that are Black. Just a true and live statistic. Men or children that spend less than 2.5 hours with their father are more likely to go to prison. Women are more likely to become promiscuous early because of daddy issues. Young boys are more likely to become younger fathers before they reach the age of 18. So having a man in the life of a child is one of the most pertinent things, just like having the mother. Of course, the mother is going to be nurturing, not saying that she can't provide for the home, but having a man in the life of a child as a daughter or a young son, it's a very well needed entity in anybody's life. So he said, my mother taught us everything a father could have, and me and my brothers turned out to be great men. There was probably somewhere along the line, you probably asked somebody at the barbershop a question. And I'm not saying that a mother cannot raise, but there are some questions that a mother will not be able to answer, or some tutelage that she can't give a young man. And that's just what it is. I can't ask my mama about what it feel like to ejaculate. She won't be able to answer that question. And I'm just saying that's like questions that young men come to me and talk to me about. They're like, hey, pops, I'm like, okay. I was like, man, why don't you ask your mama? He can't ask his mama that.
Skeet.
That's why you got all them hard socks under your bed.
And that's the exception, I think. Like I said, Mr. Terry said he lost his father when he was young. and I think that's the exception.
His
You know,
dad left when he was young.
oh, your dad left when he was young. Okay, your
Yeah.
dad left when my bad. Uh, and I don't want to take anything from single mothers, man. Single mothers do some amazing jobs. With that, I'd like to say that no human can do it all. So, depending on the situation you're in, I would say that I know I couldn't raise. I mean, I could raise the kids up by myself, but it's certain things that I
think
wouldn't be
I
able to
think
teach the kids. And I don't think I would have that empathy or that nurturing. I know I'm a horrible nurturer, man. Hopefully none of y'all ever get sick and y'all lean on me to take care of you because y'all go we might as well go to funeral home. You're gonna be gone. But it's there's certain things and there's certain things that my wife should tell you she can do, but there's certain things that she don't do. I think dads generally challenge their kids to become better. You know what I mean? And I see it even now, like with my wife. Uh, she's there for the kids. She's there to help them out and do all of this. But like if the kids, and I give you an example, my kids, they come home, they bring a bad grade, a grade that I know they can do better on. She wouldn't challenge that. She would be like, okay, babe, you did your best. But me, I'm like, oh no, you could do better. You know what I mean? Because I think dads have that in their mind that they see the potential of their kids and they're going to coach them up. They're going to push them to do better, do their best. And I don't see, and not all mothers, but I don't see a lot of mothers that does the same thing. You know what I mean? For me, everybody brings something to the table, and that balance between the mother and the father, it helps the mind frame of the kid. It helps the kid emotionally. I think there's tons of benefits to having both parents in the home.
I'm going to flip that a little bit. I'm going to say the men that are there, and my dad did it wonderfully, and I follow him behind that. But you don't have to be father only to your children. My daddy used to always say, we all know our friends and people around the block or whatever used to always come to my daddy and talk outside. So, he was a father to other people. Chris and them used to always call him dad and stuff like that. I got kids now that call me dad. I don't mind. I'm there to help out where I can help out. So to combat the thing that y'all was talking about, how men are being canceled. As a man, be a father, be that father figure to other people, and being that father figure don't mean, a lot of times it doesn't mean you have to take the kid out for McDonald's or anything else like that. A lot of time, what those kids are asking for is the time is the talking, but are men important in you said boys, they're not only important in boys lives, they're very important in little girls lives, because what they see is what they believe they should get from that boy, or that person they fall in love with later on. That's the type of relationship they're going to be looking for. That's what they're going to be expecting out of a man. So if you're not there, they don't know what to expect. They can only expect what mama or something else like that told them to expect from a dude, and that might not be the thing. So I would challenge fathers to go out there, and men in general, go out there and be mentors. Talk to the kids or whatever, the ones that try to be that father figure for the ones that need that. Just like our dad did for the dudes that was in our block.
And I like to point out, uh, like me myself, I'm always working. So, some homes might have both parents and it still feel like it's a fatherless home, home. So, just make sure you make that time out for your kids. If it's taking them to their favorite, to do something that they might love that you don't really care for, just to show them that you're watching them, you're paying attention, you know what they like, you know, just spending time with them, and that's what everyone's just been saying. We have to spend time with the children, also with the wife, with the family. We gotta be the forefront, and I think that's just the challenge that we're led to. That balance, it's the toughest thing for a father to be. That balance is serious.
I would also like to add. I do love what Leo said. You gotta um, be the father that may be missing. That some sons don't have, some daughters don't have. Um, there are some great mothers out there, and I want to make sure that Terry understands that I'm not discrediting any work or anything that she's done to make him. She seems to be as if she was the greatest contributor to his life, and he is a good dude, and Terry is a really good confidant. Um, she may be the exception for the most part. There are mothers out there that do a good job, that need help, and are afraid because most often a woman's request for help may come and a man think that it's an advancement to date or get to know, and the only thing she want is just a man in the front in the life of her kids. And so there's that, and then there's also when men and women do separate, I've seen this happen often, that the father chooses freedom, and like if the father left or the father is no longer around, he chose freedom instead of prison. And what I mean by that is he may be violent or he may become violent just when around her, and she may be antagonizing. So I've seen that type of issue occur, whereas the dad wasn't around because he said he was going to just go slap happy on somebody, and he just rather choose freedom than going in that direction. So there are some exceptionally great mothers out there. I just don't think that any woman can claim the place of a father, or should just beat on their chest and say, "Hey, I was the daddy and the mama."
Yeah. And some, I add to that too, and some homes are actually better without the father. Like I said, if there's an abusive father in the house, or if there's a father that's drunk or a drug addict or something, some of those situations, same thing. It's best, they grew up in a better situation without their father. You know what I mean? One stat I left out here, and I want to make sure I add that in. 57% of fatherless homes in the U.S. are involved in African American and Black households. Hispanic has a 31% fatherless rate, and then Caucasians have 20% fatherless rate.
Say that
But
again.
57% of fatherless homes in the U.S. involve African Americans. Hispanic is 31%. Caucasian white is 20%.
So we're over half of the homes in America are fatherless
Yeah,
if it's in the
yeah,
black community.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
And I don't even focusing on that stat. The biggest stat of all, like I don't have that the chart right in front of me, but the everybody's going up. Like white, Mexican, even Asian. I think Asians got a real low rate. I think it's like 3% or something. It's a real low rate, but it's still like between 1980 and now, everybody is continuing to climb. So it's not. That's one reason I kind of left this stat out, but it's not really a race issue. The fatherless homes, it's an issue on all the way across the board. More fathers are being pulled out of the homes.
So when you say being pulled out, expound on that.
Um, I think the home structure is changing. I mean, the home structure is changing. There's more divorce. I think people are choosing divorce easier and faster now than to fight on keeping the relationship. There are more people getting pregnant unwedded. You know what I mean? They're not married. They're getting pregnant. That's more happening on. I think that's just what's going on right now.
And
And
there's
then same thing.
so are they counting that as unmarried households versus
No, they
married
count that as
households?
all households.
So one thing I know for sure, there is an astounding rate of households that have both mother and father that aren't married.
Mhm.
And then there's an astounding rate of mothers that are dating someone that is a father figure. So I want to challenge that, but still 57, that's a high man, that's crazy.
That's a high number.
Yeah.
And even if you think about that number, some of the numbers goes from from a lot of the black men being in prison for stupid charges. I mean,
But really, is it a high number? You think about our block. How many fathers was in our block? Was around us?
Just my
And
dad.
if you want to go, you can go married or unmarried. How many fathers was actually in those homes around our block growing up?
Long term, it was just my daddy and Mr. Simon,
Yeah, yeah,
Corinthia and them. Everybody else, nobody had their father in their life.
yeah. It was the dads wasn't in those homes or whatever. A lot of them homes are around us, so it's not surprising. But also, yeah, like you said, the prison rate. There's a lot of things that contribute to those numbers, but it's still high, and we got work to do, fellas. That's
Yeah.
that's the way out to America. We got work to do.
What's the
Yeah.
first step?
Look at it.
so
Well,
what is the work? Oh, go ahead.
Well, I would say is what Leo was saying, because especially, and that's why you think about what Kinnear was saying as far as the man being um, a big piece to the house, because cutting hair. These women would literally, these single mothers would bring these boys to the shop, and they wouldn't stay there. They wanted them to be in the presence of men. So it's very necessary to be around your own, around to pick up those attributes that you need to nourish the growth in your life. So our first step is it has to be not only picking up, your son, but picking up other sons as well. If they're not doing so great in this area of life, encourage them, but also at the same instance, encouraging them with a little discipline, a little bass in that voice, and let them know, you're going to be the head of something, big, later on in the future. So know that, you are important. Let these individuals know that they are important. If it's a boy or a girl, and let them feel the love from a man, because the love from a man and a woman is totally different, and they need both love from man and woman. If it's the father and the daughter, the mother, or if you're that uncle or big brother, whatever it is, we got to fill the gaps.
Yeah, and that's what I was alluding to earlier. What you were saying, Jonathan, is like somewhere along the line, even if your mother was a phenomenal woman, some way, shape, form, or fashion, there was a man, probably a good man, that
Influence,
poured
yeah.
into your life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because our dad didn't have his father, but he always talked about the being down the street that showed him how to fix cars and stuff like that. So, what's up, Sharon?
Yeah. Son.
Yeah, yeah,
Man, this was a good show, man. This was a really,
Yeah.
really good show.
really good show, man. So before we end there, we always end with solutions there to any of the issues that we talked about, mistakes, fatherless homes, anything there. I'll let you pick, but I think are we producing better fathers than what were out there like in the 90s and 80s when we were raising kids? I mean, when we were being raised up, I think there's a huge difference. I think more fathers are wanting to be in their kids' lives because of songs that Tupac wrote and because of songs that Queen Latifah and everybody wrote about, fathers stepping up. I think a lot of men stepped up and did that. but we still got a long way to go. So solutions to anything. How do we make men better fathers? How do we become better fathers?
I say we start with women raising their standards. Because I think standards from women have become a little bit more relaxed. It's easier for a woman to open her legs to just some janky jive son of a gun now. Tell me I'm lying.
Well, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Because women aren't just getting pregnant. And if you would have thought about him being more than cute and having a couple of dollars in his pocket, then the decision to sleep with him and open up to him probably would have been different. So I think women make better decisions, and I think men should hold themselves accountable with who they're putting their seed in.
Okay. All right.
It goes both ways. I think just a long-term decision starts with the hardest decision to make. And a lot of times saying no is more valuable than satisfying a yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad you cleaned that up, because I was going to say, well, what about the men? We choosing them too. We out here, Nick Cannon out here out there, popping that Nick Cannon out there.
I choose you.
What the Queen Latifah, and I almost started saying, "Ooh, ladies first in my bed." That means she was trying to. It's another show.
Jonathan, Leo.
Go ahead, John. Okay, I go. I think we should start with this. It's a 43%. So the 43% who out there, we gotta help out the other percentage that's not there where we can. I think that's number one for us men, as far as us men doing things. I feel like what Kendrick alluded to earlier, I think that's been happening though. That's been happening since we was young. Yeah, I knew girls that had babies in high school and stuff like that. So that message is out there. It's the first message. It's a good message. Don't get me wrong. It's a good message to try to think about what you're doing before you get in there. But you know, they're kids. Kids, you tell kids not to do something, that'd be the first thing they do. So you know it happens, but after it happens, you need to do like Faith Love said, and try to make them understand you need to keep this family unit together. Even if y'all two can't get along, y'all are both raising this child, and y'all got to try to both be there for that child. If you got if that child father isn't being there as an uncle, as a brother, as you know what I mean, a grandfather or whatever, you might have to step up and be the father figure for that child. And that's where that 43% come in. We might have to fill in that gap. You know, I had to fill in a gap for one of my brother-in-laws because he was in jail for a time. And me and my wife, we was there. We was there for our nephew because he needed that figure in his life. His dad is out, and he had that relationship with his dad and everything else like that. But while his dad wasn't there, that was our job. That was my number one job. Wherever I took my boys, because his nephew and was in the same town or whatever, we took him. You know what I mean? So I think that's to me that's my solution. We do 43%. If the 43% is out here, we need to step up and help out where we can, especially for our community. Also, Juneteenth this weekend. Happy Juneteenth.
Happy
Do that.
Juneteenth.
Celebrate that. Understand.
Word up.
I already heard some people talk about it's not a real holiday. It's a real holiday, especially for us in Texas. It's real. It's
Real
real
talk.
for us.
It's really
It's a whole long year.
it's Flag Day.
Galvin.
Everybody free. We still down here in Texas. So
yeah.
this is real. We're gonna celebrate this and we're gonna keep celebrating this.
Real talk.
So there you go,
Yeah.
John. Do your thing.
Yeah, I have to agree with both of y'all and just piggyback. And as long as we hold each other accountable, then that's where I feel like it starts at. We have to make that discussion, and we got to step up. kind of, be like Pimp C and be a little outspoken. If you see your brother slipping, and you have to understand, every household isn't going to stay together, but you got to be there for your children. You gotta be there. So definitely accountability. You see your brother slipping, hey, check him. And that's what I feel like. If we start checking each other, that 43% will go up. And we got to do better. And happy Juneteenth.
And I want to add on one more thing, Jonathan. I want to add on one. We need a father's anthem. We do not have a Father's Day.
Yeah, we don't.
It's so many mama songs that you can think of. It's not Papa was a rolling.
You girl in my life for all time.
So many mama songs. We need a father song because you need something for the dudes to put that out.
Feel good about
father. Do that thing. So whoever, we might have the right one.
Hey, real talk. While you tripping, also, man, how many times you hear an NFL player saying he go buy a house for his daddy?
Only once. It was just once.
Oh yeah, Luther do have the song "Dance with My Father."
Yeah, I forgot about that. That's like one.
Yeah.
Come on, man. We need more father anthems. More father anthems.
Yeah, we do.
The only different solution that I would give, I was trying to think of something differently that you guys, so I'm not repeating the same thing you said. I said one issue that we got that we really didn't get deep into is even with the fatherless homes, now we have young men creating babies who never seen what a father looks like. So I think too, we've got to step up to that bar and challenge them young men who ain't never had a father, don't know what it looks like to have a father in the home. We've got to some way reach out to them and let them know, hey, this is what it takes to be a dad. You got to be provider. You got to be protector. You got to do this. You got to do this with the kids and step and be real. Hey, when it comes to the girls and stuff in the barbershop, we can talk about the girls and we can talk about this and that all the time. We need to sit down like, hey, man, you a daddy, bro. You ain't have a daddy in your life. Hey, bro, this is what it takes to be a good dad.
But
and
a lot of that, Isaac, comes from social media and what they see. Cardi B and her husband, that's their example of what a family is. But they don't have Cardi B money. So they can't do that. And so social media is raising these families to be families. We was raised up on Mr. Cosby himself, and James Evans.
I don't know if we can brag on that one though.
Well, family-wise, the show gave some really good things, but even James Evans with Good Times and stuff like that, like we were raised on that, like
Family Matters, Fresh Prince.
Yeah, like we saw those things. So.
Yeah. And even I want to speak on this that cousin Charlie wrote there. Men have to place more value on themselves, raise their standards, and thus placing more value on what's theirs, spouse and kids. And I would even say this too. It's not just the men, but the women too. Because men have been beat down since the 90s, have been beat down. And it's time. You don't hear those songs like Angie Stone and all of them that uplift the brothers, to uplift them and like, hey, you're strong. We need you, bro. We need more of that than the putting us down. Men need to be
there are more songs about lifting women up and empowering women versus doing it for a man.
Yeah. And we need that back, man. We've been beat up a lot and we've heard you. We've picked up our pants. We took the do-rags off. A lot of men heard you and we're all becoming better men.
Who's taking off their do-rag, man? I'm from Magnolia, man.
A lot of men has heard what you wanted, and we stepped up, and now we need you to see that we stepped up and help empower us, and we're going to empower you back again. We want strong women. You tell us you want strong men. We need to hear you. We need to get back to the point where we're appreciating each other, and we'll probably get into this when we do a gender war show. But we need to get back to the point where we appreciate each other and uplift each other, rather than push each other down.
Speaking of gender, next week's show we still doing the
Yeah, man. We have a conversation there with the LGBTQ community, so that ought to be a good show. Bros, man, it's been good, man. I always love these talks, man. Talking with y'all, this good conversation. Even getting the family in here, mother-in-law, sister-in-law, sisters, everybody in there, man. We love everybody.
Kuzang, Charlie.
What's the name of the song with all of the old school?
Oh, yeah, with Tevin Campbell and all that.
Oh, you will know?
Yeah, you will know.
Oh,
yeah.
Was
that for men?
Yeah, that was Number Men.
Yeah, it's Number Men.
Number Men.
About men?
If Tevin Campbell said it was about me.
Yeah.
And next week we got the LGBTQ plus. Want to thank everybody, all those hitting up the comment box, man. We love y'all, man. We got to get a name for our fans, man, so we can be like the real stars. Hey, make sure you go and hit the like and subscribe button, man. We want to keep on putting content out there for you, but it costs money and we need money. So we need you to go ahead and hit the like button so we can get up in this algorithm. And again, join us next week, 7:30, right here on the same channels, Facebook, YouTube. But also go check out, man, we make extra content and do other little shows there to keep you guys entertained. Go ahead, check those out. And we love y'all. Y'all have a good night and have a great Juneteenth weekend.
And Father's Day.
Oh, y'all have a great weekend. I got my list coming soon for y'all, man. My list will be in the
I got enough ties and socks.
Oh, hey, we got to shout out the black musicians too, because it's Black Music Month.
Black music.
Oh, yeah.
Man, in Asia, that's every month.
Hey, y'all have a good weekend, man. We love y'all. Y'all have a good one.
3200, but you already know this. You know it. Couple of brothers hard working and focused. Let's go. Intellectual, entertaining for show. 3200, let's go. 3200.